Welcome everybody, I'm Francesca Ronchini and I'm going to introduce a paper, The Impact of Non-Target Events in Sound-Setting Soundscapes for Sound Event Detection. The paper has been written together with Romain, Serizel, Nicolas, Turpault and Samuele, Cornell. So I would like to start with an introduction to the sound event detection problem. Sound event detection task aim to recognize the different sound event that can be present in a audio clips. So given audio clips as input to a sound event detection system, this system aims to classify and to recognize the onset and the offset of the different sound events that are present in that particular clip. The main method used to handle the task nowadays is deep learning, which required a large amount of label training data, which is time consuming, but is also bias prone due mainly to the subjectivity of in the perception of onset and offset of the different annotators. So one alternative is the use of synthetic data, which can be generated starting from isolated events, and the use of an heterogeneous datasets, which is the one, which is also like the solution proposed for the DCASE challenge task 4. In this case, the dataset is composed of a smaller amount of record to weekly data, recorded week label data, for which we have the sound, we know the event present in the clips, but we don't know the onset and the offset, a bigger amount of recorded and labeled data, and a smaller amount of synthetic strong label data. A testing set, we have recorded data, which are strongly labeled. So in this case, we also have a domain mismatch between recorded and synthetic data. Moreover, from the 2018, the synthetic data were generated including only target events. But when we are in domestic environment, usually in acoustic environment, it's really rare that we have target events alone. So from the 2021, the synthetic data have been generated, including also non-target events. So looking at the same figure as before, this time we don't only have the target events, but we also have events like musicals in outdoors that the system is not interested in classifying, but they are still present in the clips. So the purpose of this study is to focus on the impact of those non-target events when they are included in synthetic soundscapes. All the experiments have been run using the DCASE 2021 Challenge Task Force baseline, which is as said mean teacher deep learning method. And the different datasets have been generated starting from the synthetic part of the dataset, and we generated different versions of them in order to target the different experiments. So in the first experiment, we tried to answer the question how non-target events influence the system at training time. So we trained the system with different versions of the synthetic set, including non-target events, only a training, only a validation for both or none of them. And we assumed that the best performance are reached when they are included in both the training and validation phase. The second experiment tried to answer the question, can we find a target to non-target signal-to-noise radio condition that can match better the recording soundscapes and to actually make it like try to handle the domain mismatch between recorded and real recorded and synthetic datasets. And we trained the system with a TNT SNR of 5, 10, and 15 dB, and we assumed the best performance and reach when the TNT SNR is 15 dB. Motivated by the results of the first two experiments, we also tried to answer our third question and try to understand if the system get easily confused by a similarity in sound between events. And we evaluated the system using a synthetic version of the dataset that include only non-target events, and we assumed that some sound events are detected more than others. So as main key points or conclusion of the study, we can say that non-target events do have an impact at test time, but the impact that they have at training and validation is less clear, and the non-target alone can actually trigger false alarm. As a future work, it will be interesting to study the impact of non-target events at test time to understand if they induce confusion between the different classes and the impact of the per class and co-occurrence distribution of the sound event on the sound event detection performance. Thank you for your attention. Any question is more than welcome, and do not hesitate to come and discuss with us in the poster session C1 and C2.